Coach Jerry Glanville, welcome back to Tuscaloosa. I hope you're having a great day, sir.
Well, I'm kind of mad at Tuscaloosa. Can you switch me over to that Mercedes-Benz dealership manufacturer over there?
Well, I tell you what, I can share Nick Saban's cell phone number. He's in charge of the Mercedes around here.
He's got a new dealership up here in Nashville. I last time I saw him, I said, "How about letting me run that dealership? That'd be better than me trying to figure out how to stop the RPO."
What'd he say?
Yeah, come ahead. Unfortunately, he said yes. He knew I wouldn't do it, but
Now,
he did say, "Yeah, you got it."
does he give you a discount? I mean, could you ask him for a discount? I mean, is he willing to do that?
I've never asked him for anything. It's the way I live,
I got you. I know, but your friendship with Nick goes back many, many years.
Can't remember what year I hired him. I hired him in the 80s. He was a college coach all the way then. I tried to switch him over to a pro coach. Now he's back being a college coach. Bula bula.
What was it about Nick Saban that caught your eye back then?
I really got a phone call from Tony Dungy. And Tony Dungy was on the road scouting for Pittsburgh Steelers. And he knew I was looking for, he wanted to come with me to the Oilers, and the head coach of the Steelers wouldn't release him. They got you in the contract. They wouldn't let him come. And he wouldn't. I was trying to hire two people, him and Mean Joe Green. And the head coach said, "You can go anywhere. You can't go with him," because, of course, we were big rivals, the Oilers and the Steelers. And Tony Dungy called me. He goes, "Guess where I'm at?" I said, "No, I did." He goes, "I'm at East Lansing, and I'm watching Jerry Glanville coach full press bump and run." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "There's a guy here that coaches bump and run exactly like you coach it." I goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I says, "Give me his name." He says, "His name is Nick Saban." I goes, "Okay," and he's at Michigan State. Well, the head coach of Pittsburgh Steelers was also head coach at Michigan State that he was working for was also an ex-Steeler coach that I knew. And I guess 2 days later, I had him in Houston. Put him on the board. See if he was, and only Tony Dungy would know exactly what I was looking at, because I interviewed Tony Dungy down at the Senior Bowl, and he said he'd love to come, but then the head coach didn't like me much because we beat him, and he would not let me hire him. But he said he could go anywhere else he wanted to go.
Well, he is.
It was, we're both in the AFC Central. Nobody in AFC Central is going to help their opponent,
Sure. Well, Coach, here in Tuscaloosa, we're asking the question. Nick Saban had a hip injury. He was down for 6 hours. He literally took 1 day off of work, and he had a hip replacement surgery. And he had surgery on Monday afternoon. Wednesday morning at 7:45, he was back in the office.
What took him so long to get there? I'd have fired him.
Maybe that's the mentality that he carries with him.
He took too long. When he was with me, I had a gallbladder attack. You're not going to believe a gallbladder attack. You feel like you're having a heart attack.
Sure.
And it was right during the season. And I would pull him to a hospital, go in there and bang on the emergency window and tell him I needed this or I needed that on the way to a game. And he was with me when that was going on. And I never missed a game. Then when the season was over, we went to surgery, And it kind of made me bad when I went to, they put me under a fictitious name at the hospital. And the guy came in to mop the floor. And I was half asleep, half awake. And the guy, when he went and got his friend, he says, "I think this is Jerry Glanville in this bed. I think this is him. I'll take a look." And the other friend came back. He looked at another mate, and he says, "No, Glanville's a whole lot fatter than that guy." And they walked out.
Wow.
Oh, that was disappointing. But that's part of being a football coach. That's all coaches should be like that. If you get a knee replacement, get up and get going, get moving. I wouldn't expect Saban. I'm surprised he stayed home that long. Big wimp. Should have got up quicker, got going. That's who we are. That's what we do.
Coach, the one thing that Nick Saban has to hear a lot about from on the recruiting front, and he's asked about this in the media availability, and I'm as a media guy, I'm almost getting tired of the question, but today he was asked, how much longer do you want to coach? How much longer do you want to coach? And he said, I'm not even thinking about coaching. And he uses strong words. He said, I fear the day that I'm no longer part of a team. And even Vegas has got odds right now on Nick Saban's retirement at 5.5 years, over or under.
How old is he now?
He is 67 years of age.
Well, as you may not know, I just signed a new contract.
I did.
Signed a new 2-year contract. I'm with the Tampa team in the XFL. And my wife always asked me, how long are you going to do this? Because I'm going to be 78 in October. And I told the XFL, the commissioner is Oliver Luck. He goes, how long are you going to coach, Coach? And I says, I promised my wife not more than 10 years.
What'd your wife say?
Saban, my wife's different. You ask her how long we've been married. We've been married 43 years, but she says 34. And I said, why do you take 10? She goes, 10 years of had a losing season. That's not being married. That's miserable. And if you're married to a football coach, you got to hope half of your years are good years, so he's still working.
I got you. But I mean, but once you've got it.
By the way, I know Saban's wife very, very well. She's the greatest scout. Now, you can say anything you want about Nick. His wife is the best. Forget about Nick. Nick, just put him over on the curb. I love his wife. His wife's tremendous, and we were very close to them when we were all together in Texas.
Yeah, she is an awesome lady, and she's a great ambassador for our town here in Tuscaloosa.
She's the best.
Coach, but how do you get it out of your blood? I mean, at your age, you talked about signing a new 2-year deal with the XFL. I mean, is it just something that the itch is always there to get back on the coaching sidelines?
I think it depends who you are and all that. It's kind of funny because after I signed the contract with Tampa, June Jones took the Houston deal. So he tried to get me away. Here I never coached a day in Tampa, and they were trying to get me to get out of that contract. And of course, in pro football you can't. To go with Houston, and you look back. I was coaching in Houston. They said they'll have a parade if you come back. Yeah, half the people will be throwing stuff, but I think I went into Houston in 1983. Well, who would think you'd ever come back in 2019, right?
Sure.
My first coaching job was 1964. And kind of funny people, I was watching the NFL game. They said, well, the Bears are so innovative. In fact, the guy got the head job, I think, in Denver, says, here's a defense nobody's ever seen. Take a look at it. And so I looked at it, and it was what we ran in 1968 at Georgia Tech. So the good news for me is there's not much that bothers me, not much we haven't seen. And we were fortunate last year. We were in Canada last year. We coached in the Canadian Football League and coached the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we went from last place to playing for the championship in 1 year. We went from 0 and forever to playing for the championship. Now, we got beat in the championship game, so you're not satisfied. But we made a heck of a move in 1 year. And I got to tell you, we had some good players, got some good coaches. We were very, very, very good on defense. We sort of did whatever we wanted to do to folks, and that's the fun of coaching.
Coach, what's the biggest change in football that you have seen over your course of coaching?
Well, then you got to throw up. You got to say, with the exception of Canada, is really, really different. And the XFL has watched Canada football enough that they're going to adopt a lot of the Canada stuff. And once you watch Canadian football, you won't even watch college football. because the 40-second clock is 20 seconds. There is no fair catch. There's a halo rule. How about this? If you punt the ball out of bounds in Canada, where the ball goes out, there's a 15-yard penalty added against the punt team. I mean, they keep that game hopping there. I really did love it because the game is so fast and everybody runs so good. And I think the XFL is adopting a lot of their rules. You don't realize if you've got 20 seconds between plays, your next question would be on defense. How many times did you huddle up? Never. Not one time. So you got to be able to coach like a no-huddle offense, no-huddle defense, and the game is every 20 seconds the ball snaps. And the XFL is heading that same way, where people don't realize in college, you can get up and get a hot dog, go to the bathroom, come back, and you haven't missed anything. NFL is a 40-second clock. So you can make the game faster, trying to get the thing over before the 3-hour lapse goes,
Well, and yeah, we were reading some of the policies, and you think about the XFL. I mean, I do love spring football, the ideas around spring football. I'm a football fanatic. I mean, we talk 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year. We talk nothing but football in this town on this show.
Well, you'll have to come over to Tampa, and I think I'll be able to get you a seat. It holds about 70,000 people there, and I think you'll have a good selection. We'll have a lot of fans when we start off, so we'll put you in one of those.
I got you. Hey, I'm excited to see exactly where this league is going to go. I mean, because it's going to go after both the college guys and the former NFL guys and all the different policies there. But, Coach, when you look at Tua Tagovailoa from a defensive-minded coach, what do you see in this hotshot quarterback here in Tuscaloosa?
Well, he has one thing that you never, ever give up on, and that's why I would tell everybody I wouldn't give up on Johnny Manziel. If you have deep ball accuracy, and you are different, and I go back to the game where they beat Georgia, if you got a quarterback with deep ball accuracy, you get your butt kicked for 55 minutes, and you have no chance of winning the game. All of a sudden, boom, you won the game. The game's over. And when he beat Georgia, you saw the great equalizer. Now, they have a good team anyway. He's surrounded by good players. But if he was not surrounded by great players, he would still give you a better chance of coming away with a win because of the deep ball accuracy. Forget everything else he does. Forget everything. That's the key. He would say, what about the feet? What about the throw motion? Forget all that. That's for scouts to argue about. Is he accurate, and is he accurate deep? Now, Joe Montana, people don't realize, was accurate. He didn't throw deep. He was accurate. He was accurate on what I call the long handoff offense. Your guy is accurate deep. It's a different ballgame.
Do you see his skill set being in the NFL? I mean, do you see him, because everybody's talking that he could be a top 3 or 4 pick next year, could be the overall guy with his arm strength and his ability. I mean, could you see him making that transition very well?
I don't think there's any problem. I think it's I don't know if you know this, in Canada, we can put you on a list that we want you. And he went on our list at Hamilton Tiger Cats a year ago. So he didn't have to do anything else. He's already on the Ticat list.
I got you.
Of course, that's probably because of June Jones. We had June Jones. Of course, June Jones knows him away. Now his brother's going where?
He's here in Tuscaloosa, Talia Tagovailoa.
And he's going to be a freshman?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He actually was an early enrollee and went through the spring. He's got
a lot of Talamuanga on one team, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Nick Saban may never have to worry about quarterbacks in Tuscaloosa.
No. You know what? Somebody asked me if Nick could ever go back to pro football. My brother knows Nick as well as I do. My brother and Nick are close because my brother was at Toledo when Nick was the head coach at Toledo. And they asked my brother, Nick, he'll go back to pro football. You know what my brother says? Why would you go back where you get one number 1 pick, and at Alabama, he gets 5 number 1s every year?
100%.
And that just about wraps up the end of that story.
100%. Coach, your football is your passion, but you also love racing. And
I love racing.
In this state, we love Dale Earnhardt. And this is Dale Earnhardt country. I'm curious if you can share a story about Dale Earnhardt with all of us.
Well, Dale Earnhardt was my coach for me to get my gold card license. Dale Earnhardt only coached one guy, only helped one driver, and you're talking to him. So I was very, very fortunate that him and I would run a track, go to the track, and he would coach me. And then to get your gold card, he'd have to turn you around. They got to see you do what you're supposed to do if you get spun out. And because of him, and how about this? He would coach me all morning, and then the two of us would go in his trailer, and he would make me lunch. We'd have a bowl of soup or a sandwich, and then we'd go out in the afternoon, and he'd coach me in turn 1 and 2 in the morning, and we'd go down and he'd teach me how to get through 3 and 4 in the afternoon. And the first super speedway I ever ran was Talladega, and I loved Talladega. And I would race at Talladega every Friday if they'd open it up. That's how much fun I had at Talladega. Ernie didn't give me much time. I qualified 11th. And then after I qualified 11th, Ernie comes over and puts the timing in it. So I went from 11th to 3rd in about 3. I said, Ernie, why don't you give me the timing for qualifying? He says, because I wanted us to have a car and be in the race. He said, I know you. If I had given you that time for qualifying, we went right into the wall. Ernie, of course, is Ernie Elliott. Bill Elliott's brother built my motors. And when he builds your motors, you're not allowed to touch them. When anybody touches them in those days was Ernie Elliott. And Bill would run the fastest guy in the Cup, and I'd have the fastest Cup in the ARCA race. We had all kinds of fun.
I'm sure. I mean, what an experience when you talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and racing. I mean, we are no doubt football fans, but we love going to Dega as well.
Does Eli Gold still do the Alabama game?
Yes, sir. He sure does. Yep.
Well, Eli Gold was calling the qualifying at Talladega. We were on TV in those days. We used to qualify. And I can still hear Eli Gold hollering. I shifted from 3rd to 4th. I dumped it in 4th on the back straightaway at 194 miles an hour. Our restrictor plates weren't as restricted as they are now. And then I would have to, after turn 3 and 4, I'd have to reach down and get a bungee strap and hook my shifter with the bungee strap, because at the speed we were running, if you roll out of the gas, it would pop out of gear. And people, I said, how'd you like that qualifying? I said, going through 3 and 4 at over 194 with only my left hand on the wheel for my first run. My hair was on fire. Couldn't be any. It's like covering a kickoff. People ask me, what's the difference in the two? When you come around and you're on the lap and you haven't started the race and you're waiting for somebody to say green, 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 which is your spotter, he can see the guy the race has started. If your hair isn't standing on your arm like it does when you cover a kickoff, then you shouldn't be in either place. And so I love racing because I thought I was covering a kickoff every time we started the race.
Do you still have any involvement in racing?
Oh, it's kind of funny. Bill's son's doing it. Chase is, of course, I lived in Dawsonville, and Elliot lived in Dawsonville, and we all knew each other. I've known Chase since he was in diapers. So our involvement with him is we're just a fan of his, and you should hear me when I'm watching TV. I tell him where to go, like he needs my help, what to do. His dad's the best there ever was. And I do have a connection with Ganassi. When I go to Ganassi's, I get on the war wagon with Ganassi, and he's got two good cars, two good drivers. But the Chevrolets are in trouble. I mean, the bottom line is if Chase Elliott was in the Ford, he'd be right there doing everything his daddy did. I don't know how the Chevys lost their balance. They've switched to the Camaro, and Chase Elliott will be first Chevy every race, but he'll be in 5th place when he finishes. And unfortunately, Joe Gibbs got the Toyotas going, and Penske's got the Fords going, and right now you can't catch them. Yeah, you can run with them for a while, but those two teams, run off. I can remember when Penske had Dodge, and he won the championship with Keselowski in the Dodge. And the next year he switched to Ford, and people say, "Why would you win the championship and switch?" And I really honestly believe it doesn't matter where Penske's running; they're going to get up front. Their team's going to be right up front. I don't care if they switch to. They may be the only people that can get the Chevrolets going, because Hendricks cannot get the Chevrolet. What happened? How can Jimmy Johnson be the greatest driver in the world, and they switched the cars to Camaros, and Jimmy Johnson is 17th? Now you got to tell me what happened.
Well, it's NASCAR and all the different rules. I mean, it's...
Oh, you'll love this. You'll love this. I used to go to the Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. Went there for 28 years in a row, right? And you're going to love this. I would line up in Mobile, Alabama. I'd be on the sideline watching the two teams practice, and they'd let the kids out of school, and they'd all get in line for one guy out there to sign a souvenir card. And every card I signed while I was watching the Senior Bowl practice was a NASCAR card. It wasn't even a football card.
Wow.
So all the kids from Mobile would come out with their, and they knew I'd be there with my NASCAR souvenir cards. And I said, it depends on where you go, whether they think you're a football coach or a race car driver. Alabama, I think, just thought I just drove a race car. Now, we came to play Alabama when I was in Hawaii. Were you at that game?
Yes, sir, I was. Yes, sir.
Well, there's an interesting thing. That game was over, and everybody on the bus had to wait for me. I was trying to get through the crowd to get on the bus, and every card I signed was a NASCAR card.
How cool is that?
In Tuscaloosa, Alabama. How about that?
We love racing, Coach. I mean, it's in our bloodlines here.
Well, I don't think it ever leaves you. I think you're addicted. I don't think there's anything you do to get rid of it. My son, was on my race team for 10 years, and he's got things now he's got things on his cell phone that he sees on his cell phone, everything that Chase Elliott sees the whole race. And he'll call me. He goes, "Dad, Chase is doing this." I said, "Well, they're at Charlotte." I said, "Charlotte's the only track where to really turn, you have to stay in the gas. If you're going to get out of the gas, believe it or not, Charlotte, you roll out on the straightaway, but you mad." He goes, "That's exactly what he's doing, Dad. I'm riding with him." And when you know what you got to do for each track, my son feels like he's sitting in the car because of all this new modern technology.
Well, Coach, it is certainly a lot of fun to be able to see all this modern technology. It's a lot of fun to be able to catch up with you and talk some college football. It's always an honor to be able to talk with you.
Forget football. We got to talk racing.
Well, hey, listen, I'm looking at my producer, and he keeps telling me I've got 30 seconds, so I don't know what to do. I got a half a dozen more racing questions, so we're gonna have to get you back on, Coach.
Okay, one guy I used to race all the time, and guess who I really love is Harvick. So Harvick and me used to run door to door in Winston West. I used to run Winston West, which was a Winston Cup car, but a truck motor, not in a 1/2-to-1 compression with an 830 carburetor. So it wasn't as fast as a Cup car. But how about he grew up trying to get after me before he became famous? It was me and him in the Winston West races all the time. So I've got a little feeling for some drivers.
Hey, let's get back connected, and maybe we'll get you on in a couple of more weeks, and we'll talk some more racing, Coach. Thank you again.
All righty, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Adios.